Hi there. I'm Tircy Englehart, and I want to welcome you once again to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here. And while I say this every week it's true, I hear from new people that I listen to your podcast and I've just recently received your book. And people have shared with me the value and the benefit they're getting. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you both for listening in and also for letting me know that you listen in. I'm always here for you. You can always reach me at tircy@tircyenglehart.com. And I love hearing from you. So here we go, a new year. And I'm still in the process of sharing stories from my recently published book by the same name. And, each week, while I don't have your answers, we all know that we learn from one another's stories. And it's my hope that some aspect of my story will resonate with you and it'll deepen your opportunity to learn and to grow from your own life and your own life experiences. Because I actually think that's why we're here. We're all here to learn how to love more often, love more deeply, and especially love those that we actually feel challenged to love. And sometimes that includes ourselves. So this week, I'm going to read a story that's called My Body, and it's about regaining trust, trusting ourselves, and also for those of us who have dealt with addiction. This is my this year will be my 38th year of recovery after 20 years of living with an eating disorder, after sexual abuse as a teenager. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing. So we always can learn to heal, even at a deeper level, an aspect of ourself that we've previously felt like we've done quite a bit of work with. So here you go. This is chapter 14, 1991. And for those of you that are following along, it's on page 31. Getting back into trusting my own body led me to massage school. Learning healthy touch and boundaries was an important part of my healing, as mine were so blurred, like lines that had been erased. I can still remember the smell of peppermint soap in the massage school shower. It was my first experience of something from a natural food store. I started wondering about all the other stores, noticing how many unnatural ones there were in comparison. Looking for that soap, I wandered into the food co op for my first time. It was a whole new world. I felt lost and confused. I walked up and down the narrow aisles trying to find my way. Nothing looked familiar or smelled familiar. There certainly weren't the brands that my mom had clipped coupons for. The packages were smaller, and there were fewer of each item on the shelf. My journey of quality over quantity began that day. The unfamiliar was my new found friend. So, the lesson in this chapter is let yourself embrace the uncomfortable, the new, and the unfamiliar. Be curious. So, I had spent a lot of time in grocery stores as somebody who dealt with an eating disorder. The kitchen, food prep, grocery stores were very familiar to me, and I felt at home in them. So, shifting to entering into my first health food store or natural food store or co op in this case, it brought up insecurities that I didn't even know had existed. How I learned to navigate through what I know as opposed to what might be available or what might be possible. So I encourage you, if you are attached or attracted to what you know, to consider that if we live or exist just within this realm, there's a lot that we're missing. There's a lot that's not available to us. So see if this week you can stretch yourself more into the unknown. Try some things that are unfamiliar with you. Notice the discomfort that comes up. And just like when I went to massage school, so obviously for me, there was discomfort and wounding around my body, my experience of my body, my relationship to my body, as well as just trusting physical touch. And so massage school put me in a very uncomfortable position. It was also back then kind of the alternative world, but I wasn't really from the alternative world. I grew up much more in a mainstream view of life. So it stretched me. But see if you can't stretch yourself this week. See if you can't look outside of what you know, what you're familiar, and with what you're uncomfortable with, and yet trusting your exploration, trusting your curiosity and your wonder, trusting that you'll be okay to explore, discover, be curious about what's unknown or unfamiliar to you, knowing that you're safe. So see if you can't take that on this week. Okay. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, I'm so grateful you're here. And as always, if there's someone in your community or family circle of influence that you think might benefit from the podcast or my book, share it with them. Sharing is a beautiful way of letting people know that you care about them. All right. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week.